What's going on, friends? How is your day? Hope everybody's having an awesome Thursday and getting ready for the weekend. I am Barbara Fralinger, and I've been thinking a lot since it is December and it's getting close to the end of the year. A lot of people think that they want to change, right? They're like, I am going to change my habits. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to do what I always wanted to do with my career. I'm going to enroll in school. I'm going to do all these things, right? Because this is the time of year when people start thinking about that, right? So this is the thing. I've gone back and forth with this topic of change in many facets of my life, okay? Now, if you want to listen to life coach principles would say we change in an instant, that your life changes based on things that are going on, right? And then you automatically have to change. If you're in an accident, your life has changed. If you become a parent, as soon as the child's born, your life has automatically changed, right? So life coaching says we change in an instant based on circumstances and based on any kind of emotional pain that we've been put under. So it also says that until the pain of the current ways that we're getting our needs met surpasses the pain of trying something new, then we're not going to change. But if we finally get to that point, it's sort of like with drugs, when people finally hit that bottom point, then everybody's bottom is different, right? It just depends on emotionally if it's tipped them enough to make a change. So that's kind of life coaching principles. Now, if you talk about health behavior and you talk about the stages of change, what I've taught all my life in college courses, people basically go through 6 stages of change. And with that, it involves a lot of preparation and thinking before people are actually motivated and ready to make a change. So when we hear what people quit smoking cold turkey, right? They haven't really quit cold turkey, because chances are they've been thinking about doing that for a long period of time. So health behavior says that we are in pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, or termination phases, right? So pre-contemplation is when we don't even think about making a change. It doesn't matter. Either we're in denial, which everybody knows someone who's in denial, right? You're kind of like, how don't they see it? Or they just have no knowledge of what they're doing in terms of how it's hurting them in their life, right? So that's one thing. That's the first stage. What people get caught up in is what's known as the contemplation stage. And that's when you're weighing the pros and cons. And people can get caught in this stage for years. They know that smoking is bad for them, for example, but the cons of quitting are far outweighing the pros. If things are going on in their life, how do I deal with the stress? If they really rely on smoking to deal with stress, to deal with emotions, to deal with something, then, and they haven't gotten things in order in their life, and they haven't had something else to where they could adapt in place of the smoking, then they're always going to think that the cons of smoking are going to outweigh the pros. And until, again, they reach that tipping point of, okay, I'm out, I'm done, I have to do something about this. Then they move on to preparation, which is when they make a plan. And you start making a plan in your mind when you actually set a date. Now, the thing is, what people mess up with is that they start to set a date for like a New Year's resolution on December 30th. Well, I'm gonna do this January 1st. This is why we see everybody in the gym January 1st, right? Well, maybe January 2nd, right? Everybody goes to the gym and it's packed for like the first 3 or 4 weeks. It is packed. And then what happens? You start to see a steady dwindling, right? Because this is what's happened. I'll tell you what's happened. I know you want to know. This is what's happened. First, most people haven't had a plan, a realistic plan of how they're going to fit this new lifestyle into their daily routine. So they might start off really strong the first week of December because maybe they're off from work, right? And they're like, yes, I'm going to keep going to the gym every day. I'm going to do this for the whole year. So they haven't made a plan, right? And then the other thing is they haven't made a plan possibly of a realistic one of how they're going to lose weight. And they get discouraged. Well, if they don't lose 50 pounds in the first week, well, that didn't work, right? So they paid for a membership for the whole year, but they're discouraged because they don't have the thought process in place, a realistic thought process in place of how they're going to actually do it, right? You need to have a plan. You need to have a plan of, okay, according to my work schedule, if you have a work schedule, this is when I would actually go to the gym. Now, what kind of workouts am I going to do? Well, what are my goals? What do I want to achieve? Say I want to lose 50 pounds. All right, what is a healthy way to lose 50 pounds? Well, 1 to 2 pounds per week, right? So if we think about that, then we have to realistically say, okay, 6 months. 6 months, it's going to take me if I lose 1 to 2 pounds per week in a healthy way, and I'm consistently going to the gym, and I'm doing the workouts that I know are going to help me do that, plus I'm doing my nutrition, right? Then I'm just going to keep going and trust the process. I'm not going to try and just, make sure everything is, all at once. I'm not going to try and, give it just a week or 2 weeks. And if I don't see any progress right off the bat, if I don't lose 1 pound in the first week or 2 weeks, then just didn't work. Well, it didn't take you a week to put on 50 pounds. Why would it only take you a week to lose it, right? So we have to get our mind right. That's the big thing. So in preparation, you have to be writing it out. The more organized you are, and in my groups, what I do is I have people do a calendar of when they're going to do their workouts each day and what they're going to do with meal prep. How are they going to meal prep each week? When are they going to do it, right? How are they going to realistically make this a habit and a lifestyle? So you have to do those things in order to set yourself up for success. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for massive failure because you don't have the right tools put in place. So what you need to do is then, after you prepare and you make that plan, then you move into action. And this is the other thing. Once people are in action, they're executing the plan, right? Are you going to fall off? Yes, you're going to fall off. Things are going to happen that are going to get in the way. But the key to that is not making that a definition of you, whether you're successful or failing at what you're doing. You can't define yourself by if you skip a day or 2 days or you fall off track for even if you fall off track for a week. A lot of people have this tendency that they get one flat tire and it's like they slash the other 3, and it's, why would you do that? Okay, so you had a bad week. Why wouldn't you just get back on and keep doing what you're doing? So it's this all or nothing mentality too. So that's the other thing. So once you're in action, recognize that you're going to have times when you mess up. It's just human. It's human behavior. But as soon as you get right back on track and pick up again and not down yourself for getting, off track, then you'll be better. You'll be much better. And then the other thing is maintenance. So if you've been executing a plan for about 6 months, so let's just take cigarette usage. If you haven't smoked a cigarette in 6 months, you're said to be in maintenance. And then if you go 1 to 2 years without engaging in a bad behavior, or if you're 1 to 2 years engaging in a good behavior like working out, then you're said to be in that termination of the bad behavior phase, right? So this is a process, okay? And the decision, now what I do agree with life coaching is that, yes, the decision is made in an instant, right? And whether or not that comes because of a life event or it comes, just because you've finally gotten sick and tired of being sick and tired, then yes, you can make a decision in an instant to change your life. That's completely possible. So can you change right away? Absolutely. But when you're doing that, it's like working out, right? we have to keep putting stress on the muscles in order for them to grow. It's the same thing. You're going to meet a lot of resistance in your goals, and you have to keep battling through, and you have to keep adjusting, right, in order to move to the next level. So if you want to go to the next level with each thing, you're going to have some patience with yourself, and you're going to have to commit. You're going to have to commit to a process whether or not you're seeing results, right? You have to just trust in that process and keep moving forward. So that's what I have learned, because I look at it this way. And this really was like an aha moment for me with working out. I never put a deadline like, I want to lose 10 pounds by this date. Because here's the thing, that date is going to come either way. And whether or not I lose the 10 pounds, does that mean that I'm going to stop the lifestyle once I lose the 10 pounds? No, right? So why wouldn't you just keep going on and just say, okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. All right, well, either way, you know, and if you don't get to that point by that date in your head, you're still going to continue that lifestyle, aren't you? Or are you just going to get to that point and then go back to your old habits? I'm not saying you can't celebrate a little once you hit a goal. Of course you can. But making it such a rigid timeline in your head, well, I'm going to just try this for a month, and if it doesn't work, well, obviously we know what works. What works? Exercise, eating healthy, portion control, getting the proper essential nutrients in our diet, having support, setting ourselves up for success by, you know, bringing things into our house that are healthy for us, and, you know, getting rid of all the bad stuff. So these are all things that we can do to set ourselves up for success. So if you're doing that, plus you know that that's going to work. Eventually the process scientifically has been proven to work if you're eating well and you're staying within your calorie range, you're getting enough good proportion of carbs, proteins, and fats, your macros, and your vitamins, minerals, and water in your system. So all of those essential nutrients, plus you're working out. And you're doing both a combination of strength training and cardiovascular exercise. It's science. You have to get better. Now, are there some people that have metabolic disorders or have some kind of issue to where their process might be stunted for some reason, medical reason? Absolutely, that can happen. But for the most part, I would say maybe 98% or 99% of the population, good nutrition, exercise, having a good support system around you, working on yourself internally. I mean, this is, you know, when we talk about weight management, it is an internal job. It is all internal. I always think about that show, The Biggest Loser, because, and it was one of my favorite shows, because every time that they would hit a plateau or a point where they just felt like they couldn't go farther, it was because of something that was holding them back on the inside. Something that had happened to them in childhood, or something, a core fear or a core feeling of being a failure at something in their life, or not feeling enough, or whatever it is. And that's what it is. If you're not doing the work to work on the inside, to actually make yourself stronger mentally and emotionally, right? So that's going to involve maybe reading some books, right, on maybe self-esteem or whatever, or getting therapy. I always tell people who have a lot of weight to lose, if you're anywhere from 50 to 100 pounds overweight, you should be getting counseling, and not just nutrition counseling. You should be getting actual cognitive behavioral therapy, because there is a reason that you are using food, right? You're using food as a mechanism for something. You're not having a healthy relationship with it. You're using it. And then I always have the people that come to me that would say, well, I really don't need anything. And they're, you know, overweight or obese. And that's, get honest with yourself. Get honest with yourself, because the sooner that you're honest with yourself and your habits, and you're like, okay, yes, you know, I do binge eat in the middle of the night, or I do this. It's okay. Because as soon as you admit to what you're doing, that's when you can fix the problem, right? So unless you don't want to change, that's the other thing. If you don't want to make a change, then you're not going to admit to the problem. If you want to make a change, you'll admit to the problem, and you'll be completely upfront and honest with yourself, not anybody else. You don't have, you know, upfront and honest with yourself is the key factor in all of this if you want to make a change. All right, so I hope this helped somebody and educated you a little bit. Speaking of that, what I do every year for New Year's resolutions is I get people on board for like 3 months at a time because I want to take them through that process of working on themselves, right? I give everyone a questionnaire of things that they want to accomplish, and then I also ask them about internal feelings and things, ways that they might be using food or lack of exercise or things in their life, right, that are going on. So I can get a complete picture, and then I can implement tools to help them both emotionally and mentally, as well as physically. So that's kind of like my background. I'm into health behavior. I've studied human behavior for years. I know patterns and habits and things to do to break them. So, and how to move those people through those different stages of change. Because there are things that you can do as a health educator to help people get from one stage to the next, you know, to have somebody who's weighing the pros and cons to move them into preparation or action. So that's what I do in my program, my yearly New Year's resolution program that I run. It's like a total transformation kind of program. So what I'm going to do this year, because we have a new program coming out called 80-Day Obsession, I'm going to use that as the exercise portion. So if we commit to 80 days doing the 80-Day Obsession program, and then you're also doing the meal plan, you're eating well, and you are working on yourself internally, and I would be helping you with that too, then you can make a resolution that actually sticks. So if you are interested in doing that, I am here. I am always here for people who want to get a jump start and make a serious change. Now, I want to work with people who are serious, and I want to work with people who, are really ready, right? They're ready and they're committed to making something different for their life, having a better life in 2018. Okay, so I hope all of you have an awesome rest of the Thursday. Rest of the Thursday. I'm not sure. And have a great weekend. And just contact me. Let me know if you need any help with anything. Love to chat. Talk to you soon.